Donald Trump inauguration, key moments and what it meant for America. On January 20, 2017, Donald Trump took the oath of office to become the 45th President of the United States. It was an inauguration filled with historical significance, political tension, and a clear signal of the direction Trump wanted to take the nation. But what made this day so memorable? In this video, we'll break down the most important moments of the 2017 inauguration and explore the implications for America. Let's get started. The path to the 2017 inauguration wasn't an easy one. After a contentious election season marked by intense debates, controversies, and dramatic moments, Donald Trump emerged victorious over Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. His win was seen as a seismic shift in American politics, with many calling it an upset. As Inauguration Day approached, the country was split. Some were eagerly anticipating the start of a new era, while others were concerned about the future direction of the country. Trump's campaign slogan, "Make America Great Again," resonated with millions, but it also sparked fear and division in others. What would his presidency really mean for the U.S.? Fast forward to January 20, 2017. The ceremonial day was filled with classic rituals of American democracy, but with some distinctive Trump-style twists. Donald Trump was sworn in by Chief Justice John Roberts. The iconic moment of the oath of office set the stage for what was to come. His speech that day was unconventional and blunt, a sharp contrast to the polished addresses of previous presidents. Trump, from this moment on, it's going to be America first. Every decision on trade, on taxes, on immigration, on foreign affairs will be made to benefit American workers and American families. Trump's speech was characterized by its populist tone, emphasizing his promise to bring power back to the people and challenge the political establishment. He promised to tackle issues like job creation, manufacturing, and rebuilding the military. He also directly addressed his supporters, using phrases like "American carnage" to describe the state of the nation and make the case for his radical reforms. Beyond the words, the inauguration itself carried immense symbolism. The event marked a fundamental shift in American politics. Trump's inauguration was a reminder of the populist wave that had swept across the nation, and a signal that he would govern differently than past presidents. This was not just about the ceremony, it was about sending a message. His supporters were jubilant, waving flags and chanting slogans, believing that this was the dawn of a new political order. On the other hand, protests and demonstrations were seen in Washington and across the country, a reminder of the deep divisions in America during that time. Of course, the Trump inauguration was not without controversy. The media coverage of the event was divided, with many pointing to the relatively low attendance compared to previous inaugurations. Estimates suggested fewer people attended Trump's swearing-in than those who attended Obama's inaugurations in 2009 and 2013. Trump's press secretary, Sean Spicer, made headlines by accusing the media of underreporting the crowd size, claiming it was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period. The statement quickly became the subject of ridicule as many in the media and public questioned the accuracy of the claim. At the same time, protests against Trump's policies and presidency began almost immediately. There were large-scale demonstrations, notably the Women's March the day after the inauguration, which became one of the largest protests in U.S. history. Trump's first day in office set the tone for his presidency, with actions such as signing executive orders aimed at rolling back regulations, particularly in healthcare and environmental policy. He wasted no time in fulfilling some of his key campaign promises, which energized his base but also faced swift opposition from many lawmakers and activists. While the inauguration itself was a moment of spectacle, it was the first step in a presidency that would prove to be one of the most polarizing in modern American history. The rhetoric and policies Trump introduced in his inaugural address set the stage for the next 4 years of intense political debate, policy clashes, and a redefined American identity. His presidency would bring about significant changes to American politics, including shifts in immigration policy, healthcare reform, and foreign relations. Whether you loved or hated his approach, there's no denying the lasting impact of his tenure. The 2017 inauguration of Donald Trump wasn't just another day in the political calendar. It was the beginning of a new chapter in American politics, filled with challenges, controversies, and bold claims for the future. What do you think about Trump's inauguration and the years that followed? Was it a turning point for America, or just another transition of power? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Gap 2S. The world watched closely as Donald Trump took the oath of office on January 20, 2017. From allies to adversaries, the global community had varied reactions to his inauguration. In Europe, many leaders expressed cautious optimism but also concern over Trump's America First policy. German Chancellor Angela Merkel emphasized the importance of cooperation and mutual respect, while French President François Hollande warned of the potential rise of populism. Across the Atlantic, Mexican leaders were particularly apprehensive due to Trump's strong stance on immigration and his insistence on building a border wall. President Enrique Peña Nieto emphasized the need for dialogue and respect between the two neighboring countries. In Asia, reactions were mixed. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe quickly sought to establish a strong relationship, visiting Trump in New York before the inauguration. Meanwhile, Chinese officials were more reserved, wary of Trump's rhetoric on trade and his stance on the South China Sea. Russia, on the other hand, welcomed a potential thaw in relations. President Vladimir Putin expressed hope for improved ties, highlighting a shared interest in fighting terrorism and addressing global security issues. The Middle East also had its share of reactions. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was optimistic, seeing an opportunity for stronger U.S.-Israel relations. Conversely, Palestinian leaders were concerned about the potential implications for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Overall, Trump's inauguration marked a significant moment not just for the United States but for the entire world. It set the stage for new alliances, tensions, and diplomatic challenges. How did the global reactions shape the early days of Trump's presidency? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Gap 2S. Gap 2S. The media coverage of Donald Trump's inauguration was a spectacle in itself, reflecting the polarized nature of his presidency. Major news networks like CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC provided wall-to-wall coverage, each with their own unique spin. CNN focused on the historical aspects and the unprecedented security measures in place, while also highlighting the protests occurring around the country. Fox News, on the other hand, emphasized the celebratory elements and the message of change that Trump promised to bring to Washington. MSNBC took a more analytical approach, dissecting Trump's speech and the reactions from political figures both domestic and international. Social media platforms buzzed with activity, with hashtags like #TrumpInauguration and #NotMyPresident trending throughout the day. Twitter became a battleground for supporters and critics alike, with tweets ranging from celebratory to scathing. Facebook live streams allowed people to watch the event in real time, and the comment sections were flooded with a mix of hope, fear, and everything in between. International media also weighed in. The BBC provided a balanced view, covering both the ceremony and the global reactions. Al Jazeera focused on the implications for U.S. foreign policy, particularly in the Middle East. Russian state media celebrated the event, framing it as the dawn of a new era in U.S.-Russia relations. The media coverage was not without controversy. Questions arose about the accuracy of crowd size estimates, leading to a heated debate between Trump's administration and the press. This dispute marked the beginning of a contentious relationship between Trump and the media, one that would continue throughout his presidency. Overall, the media coverage of Trump's inauguration was a microcosm of the broader societal divisions, capturing the hopes, fears, and uncertainties that defined the day. How did the media's portrayal of the inauguration shape your perception of the event? Let us know in the comments below. Gap 2S. Gap 2S. Donald Trump wasted no time in setting the tone for his administration, announcing several key policy changes on his very first day in office. One of the most immediate actions was the signing of an executive order aimed at rolling back parts of the Affordable Care Act. This move signaled his commitment to dismantling Obamacare, a promise he had made repeatedly during his campaign. Additionally, Trump instituted a federal hiring freeze, a step he described as a measure to reduce the size of the government workforce. This was seen as part of his broader agenda to cut down on what he termed government waste. In another significant move, Trump withdrew the United States from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, a trade deal that had been a cornerstone of the Obama administration's economic policy. This decision was intended to fulfill his promise of prioritizing American jobs and manufacturing. Environmental policies also saw immediate changes. Trump's administration issued a memorandum to expedite the review and approval of infrastructure projects, including the controversial Keystone XL and Dakota Access pipelines. This decision was met with both applause from industry supporters and outrage from environmental activists. On immigration, Trump began laying the groundwork for one of his most controversial policies, the construction of a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. While no formal order was signed on the first day, his administration made it clear that this would be a priority in the coming days. These swift actions highlighted Trump's intent to deliver on his campaign promises and set the stage for a presidency marked by significant policy shifts. Yet these changes also sparked immediate debate and resistance, foreshadowing the contentious years ahead. How did you feel about the policy changes announced on Trump's first day in office? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Gap2S. The public's response to Donald Trump's inauguration was as polarized as his campaign had been. Across the country and around the world, people expressed a wide range of emotions, from elation to deep concern. In cities like Washington, D.C., New York, and Los Angeles, large crowds gathered to both celebrate and protest. Supporters of Trump hailed the inauguration as a turning point, believing it marked the beginning of a new era focused on American interests and economic revitalization. They were hopeful that his promises to bring jobs back to the United States and to put America first would lead to positive changes. Conversely, many others were deeply unsettled by Trump's rhetoric and policy proposals. The day after the inauguration, millions participated in the Women's March, one of the largest single-day protests in U.S. history. Demonstrators voiced their concerns about potential rollbacks on civil rights, environmental protections, and healthcare reforms. The sheer size of these protests underscored the deep divisions within the country. Social media platforms were abuzz with reactions. Hashtags like #NotMyPresident and #MAGA trended simultaneously, reflecting the starkly contrasting views of the public. Memes, videos, and tweets flew across the digital landscape, capturing the spectrum of sentiments from jubilation to outright fear. Internationally, the response was equally varied. Some foreign leaders expressed cautious optimism, hoping for positive bilateral relations, while others were wary, given Trump's campaign promises to renegotiate trade deals and question long-standing alliances. The public's response to Trump's inauguration was a microcosm of the broader societal divisions that would continue to shape his presidency. Whether viewed as a moment of great promise or significant peril, the inauguration undoubtedly left an indelible mark on the national and global psyche. How did you react to Trump's inauguration? Let us know in the comments below.